Hello, friends. How's everybody doing? If you're here, say hello in chat so that we know. And I know it's a new time, so some of you will be watching on replay, and that is just fine too. But I ask that you leave me a comment, give a thumbs up, and thank you for being here and watching. Lisa, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
So we're just going to get started, and I'm sure they'll join us when they're ready.
They will. It's still showing 18 minutes until stream. It's not live yet.
Oh, hello, Miriam. Hi, Trish. Evie must be here. Hello, hello. So glad you're here. I know it's a new time. It's a Saturday. Summer just started. Everybody's busy. Hi, Diane. Glad to have you. Okay, today we're going to do something fun. Are you ready? Are you ready? Should we get started? First of all,
we
I want
should.
to read some teabag wisdom because I have it's half kava and half the other kind of like the daytime vitamin C tea. So it's like cinnamon orange. It's very good. But I have some teabag wisdom for us, and I'm going to read it. So may this day be the day to lead us to peace, happiness, and joy. I love it. I do. Hi, Yushi. I'm so glad you're here. Good to have you.
Hi, Yushi.
Second one, use your head to live with your heart. And lastly, know that you are a child of the universe. I just love that.
That's good. A nice one.
It is. It is so good. And these could actually be added, if I really wanted to the project we're doing today. I have a couple things in mind here, but what I first want to talk about is this is kind of an intro to assemblage. Assemblage would be assembling different pieces together that are unexpected. And we're going to do that with whimsy today. So whimsy is also unexpected, playful, and happy generally. And opposites can create whimsy. There's a lot of ways to get whimsy into your project, but we're going to make something that's fun to look at. We can hang over the kitchen window while we're doing dishes. I don't know about you, but that's my thinking time. And you kind of space out, and I wash my hand. I don't have a dishwasher. We live in an old farmhouse. So that's my time to kind of zone out, look out the window. I want to create something special to hang above my window that makes me smile, makes me feel happy. And it's going to be a dangle. You could hang these outside. I know Lisa's thinking about hanging hers outside. Hi, Anne. How you doing? Glad to have you here. Hi, Julie.
Anne's assembling something different today.
Oh, yeah?
A table for a pizza oven. Sounds like fun.
A table for a pizza oven. Hi, Belinda. How you doing?
We've got the one-legged witchy woman.
Hi, Laura. Glad to have you here. I'm just so glad to see everyone. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few of the things that I have made, and I know you've seen that require, could be a dangle for over your kitchen window. We're going to do this sort of thing that hangs, and sometimes you'll see the front and the back, and you'll need to treat it that way, but you could also hang them on your wall, hang them outside, anything you want. You guys saw these ones recently. Hey, I have an art room tip for you. Are you ready? The metal wire mesh paper thing that you assemble. You get all the little square pieces. I've used those for lots of things over the years. And, when they're disassembled, the flat grates, I actually hung some cup hooks vertically above my desk. I connected 2 of them with zip ties, and I have S hooks and hooks hanging there to put things like this on as I make them. It's actually a really great way to display them, and it's super easy. It looks cool too. I have some other things up there like old glasses, photo slides, things like that I might want to grab, but it's perfect above my desk. Just hanging in the middle of the room because my desk juts out into the room. Oh no, Julie has a sinus infection. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. Really sorry. Okay, so I'm going to put this up. I just wanted to share that little tip with you. What we're going to do today, I know you guys have seen these too. This is another way that you could hang something above your sink, and you could actually make like a swag that goes over your curtain and put clips on them, and like put them on a ribbon and have more than one. That would be really fun. Or do it like a mobile. These are some of my favorite ones. There's another one you guys saw last year. Here's one that I made years and years ago with these tea balls and a chandelier crystal and some old broken jewelry. I mean, it can be anything you want, but we're going to talk about the band today. And I will share with you what that is in just a moment. I got a new computer thing, like a stand. Hold on. And it hangs from my ceiling now. I'm super excited to have it up off the desk. Okay, so this is the one I made this week. And we're going to talk about kind of assembling something with whimsy. And if you notice here, I gave him a balloon. He had the staff, and I was like, oh my gosh, a balloon. He needs a polka dotted balloon, right? I just love him. I think he's so fun. And then I have little skulls on there. Hung it from a washer. So we're going to create something on a substrate and think about it like a band. So that would be having your band name would be your substrate, like the band all together is your substrate. The lead singer would be your focal point. The backup singers or the musicians would be your accompanying artists, which would be all the other little elements that you add to that. So it's kind of done in layers if you think about it. It's just a good analogy for that. And I do think about that all the time. And it's something that I worked on a few years ago when I was with Happy Paper People. And I shared kind of how I go about creating something, like an assemblage. So I have some puzzle pieces here, and all I did was use a hole punch, goes right through that puzzle piece. And you can find these at thrift stores really cheap because, oftentimes kids lose the pieces and they end up in like a pile, and sometimes they're even free. And you can get all different sizes. I do have some larger ones here as well, believe it or not. The other thing I have here is a cork, and this is a good substrate as well. And you could do like a whole row of these or like a mobile. It would be really fun. So let's start with that one. And hopefully this one will be pretty quick. And what I have here, she is my lead singer, by the way. And then I'll find her backup singers. I'm going to cut her out. I love her little beehive there. She's going to go great on that cork. And then we're going to hang something from the bottom that's going to resemble her dress. So finding objects like old poles and the washers that I recently found at that sale, if you guys saw that video, things like this from your broken clothespins clothespins. Any of those sort of things are fun to work with, and they create that whimsy and that sort of opposite effect, especially if you use something polished like this old piece of artwork. I love her little beehive. That's the birth of the beehive right there. I love it.
I, I can't help but laugh. My mom always had like the beehive, and
Oh my
she
goodness.
she had thin hair, so she had to have a hairpiece to make the beehive. And when it would be in the bathroom, we would all giggle at it. It would get washed the day before she went to the beauty salon,
Oh
so
my
that
goodness.
it would be ready when she went for its treatment as well, so they could incorporate it into her real hair.
Oh my goodness.
But
That's
she'd have it all
hilarious.
rolled up, like it looked helpless, like a helpless critter when it was laying
Oh
on
my
the
goodness.
counter
All
waiting for
ratted
its
out.
weekly shampoo.
That's awesome. Anybody new come in that I missed?
No, right now we're talking about pizza. Everybody's wanting to see pizza now
Oh my goodness. I
when
want to know
uh
what she's
when the
building. I
pizza's
mean,
ready.
building a table for a pizza oven. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, it's what it sounds like.
Okay, so I'm gonna get some little bits and parts out here. You guys can use your crushed when your eye didn't work, your jump uh oh my gosh, your eyes, if they get squished wrong or fall out, these are perfect for this. Just to add some interest and some different things. And I'm going to be thinking it opposite. So I'm going to try to find a super artsy piece of tissue that has like a gel print on it or something that I'm going to wrap around that first. Or I need to cut her out though. I'm going to use that. You guys can also use like your wood pieces like this would be good. Any sort of object for your substrate, for your band, is great. And then I'm going to use some cup hooks or eye hooks on my cork to hang it. You just screw them right in. Works great. So let me find something here. Something I want opposite, right? Oh, I have to show you guys something funny. So my husband, he builds police cars and he decommissions them as well. And one day he was decommissioning a car and found these stuffed into the seat. They're $10 bills, right? But they're counterfeit. And they look real. They feel real. I think they're perfect for collage because it looks like I spent some money on that project, Maybe that's what goes on my cork to add that whimsy. Maybe. I don't think it's interesting enough for that. But it's funny.
I've handled more than a few counterfeits in my life.
Have you?
Yes, I have.
Oh, usually they take them and throw them away, but those
Well,
ones didn't make it.
working in a bank, when you get them, all you can do with them is turn them in to the Secret Service so that they can be analyzed. And basically, what that tells them is, a lot of times it'll tell them the origin. Sometimes they can get fingerprints off of them. They can learn how they did it, what kind of inks they used.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Um, I'm sure there's a lot they can get out of that. There was a whole stack of them, by the way.
Came
And
into your possession. You couldn't give
he
it
did.
back.
What's that?
You could not give it back. So my guess is if it was in a police car, most likely, it was taken in a low lit situation.
Right.
So somebody got stuck with it and they were ready to get rid of it.
Probably. Probably like I can imagine. How about bees? Because I'm thinking beehive. That might be cool. I hadn't thought ahead about this, obviously. I mean, I knew I was going to use her and a cork, but and then the reason why we're doing this today is because Lisa wanted to learn how to make some dangles. So we can thank Lisa for this project today. So what if I just cover my cork? Let's get a ruler out. My whole desk is a mess right now because he just installed that last night. And I don't have everything put together yet. I haven't figured out where everything goes now. I'm going to have to redo it all. Okay. Pretty cool tissue paper. All right. Am I missing anything there besides pizza? Fathead dough? What?
It's a
You guys gonna make
it's a base keto.
Hi, Brenda.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to wrap this around and then I'll sand it off, I guess. Let's see if I can do this. So sandpaper is really great when you're doing like puzzle pieces and stuff, and tissue, because it's hard to get it just right. It's a lot easier to just use some sandpaper when you're done. I'm going to figure out what kind of glue to use here, and I'm thinking gel medium because it's a cork that's kind of rubbery. And I need my brush. See if I can find everything today. I'm awful glad everybody's joining us for this fun project. I recommend finding things that make you smile or things that are sentimental, like your mom's jewelry or that old kitchen gadget that you don't use anymore that was your grandma's, or, you know, like the T-ball kind of. It's good to have things that make you happy if you're going to hang it above your kitchen window or wherever you do your projects. Stuff that makes you smile. That's
Hi, Liz.
Hey, Liz. Glad you're here. So obviously you can use a gel print for this. Anything you want, anything that makes you happy. I'm just using bees because, you know, looks like she has the original beehive there. And I'm going to set that off to the side and cut her out real quick before I sand that. Won't take long.
Sharon, I've taken my cork and I've poked a hole in it.
Uh-huh.
And I took some stiff gauged wire and I have made myself a loop and threaded it through.
Oh, that's
Now,
awesome.
if I take a short piece of my brayer skin and wrap it around, if I drop it down, will that make good hanging spots for little tassels and things?
If you drop it down like and hang it from that?
If I take the wire and start wrapping it around, if I take the wire and wrap it around, like if I go around once and then come down, would that?
It absolutely would. And you could also put beads on that wire while you do it. You could add beads, kind of like a boho bead.
Yeah.
As you go.
Okay, so it'd be better to add it as I go rather than come back and put it on. Oh, you're talking about put it actually on the wire.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that would work great, actually. I'm going to get out my little scissors.
My brayer gave me a skin yesterday, and it came off in a spiral. And so it had thin strips, and when I saw it, I thought, I could make something with that. So it ended up here.
So I know this is not exactly riveting watching me fussy cut her, but it has to be done. So the other one I wanted to make was one with the Queen of Hearts. I don't know if you all know, but I collect Queen of Hearts cards. I always have. It has nothing to do with Alice in Wonderland. It's more like I just always liked Queen. And I love hearts, you guys know. So I have lots of, I always tell people if your Queen of Hearts goes missing from your deck of cards, I was probably there. But so what I want to do here is put her on there all the way to the top. And then I'm going to create kind of dress tendrils with something in the bottom and hang little torn fabric. I think that'll be fun. Kind of wish my cord was a tiny bit longer, but that's okay. She'll have a, she'll be cut off about right there. So I think I'm going to put her on first. So I'm using my favorite glue here, and it is the Crafters Workshop gel, matte gel medium. It is super good stuff, but I also have a heavier golden glue that I could possibly use if I need to. Golden, like golden brand, not like the colored gold. So let's push her all the way up to the top. And then I have a resin bead that I made that I might add somewhere as well, like maybe on her, on the waist, since she has a beehive, kind of as a theme. This song must be about bees, huh? With the band.
Yeah.
I might have to get out my heavier glue for this because it's a thick piece of paper from the book. Okay. So my challenge to you, if you're interested in making a whimsical assemblage dangle, is to find some sentimental items and some opposite items and, things that maybe are unexpected, and just go for it. Make something that you like for yourself that you can hang up somewhere. Ooh, that's creepy. There's an eye. Oh, I don't want that one. I want this one. I better start using this arm and I'll lose it. So your glue should be as heavy as your whatever you're gluing down. And because this is thicker paper, I'm using thicker glue. There we go.
Several people are mentioning that they like sentimental things, and I have gone through the jewelry that I had that when we were moving my mother the last time that we moved her, she was so disappointed because she thought it was going to go to Goodwill, and I didn't have the heart to let her think that we were going to just discard it. So I brought home a lot of pieces that I didn't think I would ever use.
Well, there you go.
And today I have deconstructed one of her pink bling over the top pieces. And that is what I am using to create whatever
so
it
cool.
is. That's the goal, is to have that to be a part of my creation today.
So I put a heavy coat of that glue over the top to get down in all those little cracks and creases and to seal her. Because if she's over my kitchen sink, there could be steam or whatever. I love that you're using sentimental pieces. I think it's important if we're making something for ourselves, and that helps put our soul into what we're doing a little bit, I mean, it creates, did I show you my little bouquet? I went and picked some flowers for you guys from my garden in this tiny little bouquet. Got a red rose bush and a pink one. I love it.
Those are pretty.
They are so fun. So, I just thought it's the perfect size for my desk right now. It really is. I mean, like everything's just piled up because I gotta redo the whole thing now. I love the mount for the computer though, hanging from the slope on the ceiling. It's made for attic ceilings. Gotta wipe your scissors off if you use glue. If you cut glue, you gotta wipe it off. Okay. So I'm going to give this a minute to dry before I go at it with the sandpaper and trim that out. But for now, what I'm going to do is start her dress, because I have some fabric here, and it's going to go on a loop on the bottom. So let me see what I got here. I have this scarf that has, and we're working in opposites, so this really does scream opposite on that. I was thinking I might use a little piece of that to create maybe the blackest part. Get some different scissors here. I don't know if this will tear, but I guess we're about to find out. Oh.
Has it got glitter in it?
It does. It has, oh my gosh. It has, you see that? All the different fibers in there. It's great. I'll avoid the pink, but I like that piece. Let me grab a couple pieces of lace.
I didn't think about using the material out of scarves today.
I love that.
G3 Brenda. Hello, welcome.
Hey, Brenda. I think she popped in earlier.
She popped in and popped out. She said she'd be back, so I waited for her.
Well, thank you, Brenda. So I don't think I finished saying I have a challenge for you to choose some pieces and make a hanging and think of the band. And that's for anybody that wants to do this with us. I'm just looking for some fabric right now, so I'm here, but I'm off to the side. Let's make your screen large so they can see what you're doing while I do that.
Okay.
There we go. Okay.
Get myself in here. This is where I'm at so far. I started with a mushroom cork, and I'm taking and wrapping wire around. Eventually, this is going to be just something to hang on my porch. I've got a swing out there, and I also have some deers that are kind of messing up my stuff. And I love them, but, you know, they need to go eat somewhere else and not eat my flowers. So I'm going to make some little noisemakers and things that, you know, will make it not so exciting to come to my yard and eat.
I love it. That's great. You tell them. You tell them.
Julie, the reference to band is what she was talking about when she was talking about how you have your
Just a minute.
way of staging.
Redo. Yeah, it's a way of thinking about your project so that you have a backup singer, you have a lead singer, which is your focal point. It just creates harmony in your piece. You know, if you think about it like that, your substrate would be the entire band, and that's what you put your stuff on. Julie, I actually talked about that in Happy Paper People. It's just the way I like to build mixed media and the way I like to think about it when I'm building. Just to remind me that I need those parts. Oh, I really like this stripy one. And then maybe some of, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I swear I am. Something old, something new, something borrowed.
Something blue.
Just like that. That's right. Oh, okay. So I'm pulling out like blacks and grays here. I don't know why. That was just what I was drawn to. And I will show you in just a moment. I don't know what I did with my rust fabric. That's disappointing. Oh, there's some on a hoop, of course. Okay, I'll put it away now. right, I'm back. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I don't want that one. I had put this on here long ago. Can have a nice circle on it. You guys can use rings to hang things too. It could be a shower curtain ring. Could be any sort of, anything you can think of that's got a hole in it. I know I've said it before. If it's got a hole in it, it's a bead to me. If I can hang something from it, that's great. Or if I can poke a hole in it, that's great. I'll do it. So I want to use some of this. Isn't that beautiful? This rust-dyed fabric. You guys, I'm still kicking myself for not buying those other transistors. That whole box of them. I will be using one today.
Just one.
Just one. Yeah,
just
because I
one.
didn't get enough. I'm so sad about it. Let's see if this tears.
Well, don't be sad. Just be grateful that you got the one.
I'm almost going to tell Bill that I want to go back to Packwood and knock on that gal's door. Well, originally,
you might not be the first crazy person to knock on the door. I mean, I'm just saying, we're friends. I can be honest.
It was for Dad's estate, and they were trying to get rid of everything. And originally, they were like, "We don't know what to charge for this," and I think we had $50 on it. And I was like, "Well, that's a little steep for me."
Honestly, there comes a time when you're trying to do estates where you just don't have the energy anymore to deal with the stuff.
Yes.
And they probably had reached that point, and they wanted somebody who would appreciate it. I mean, the lady that lived across the street from me, when they were getting ready to sell her house, they told me, because I'd looked after the house, ever since she had left it and gone, to the hospital. And they told me, go in the house, so-and-so's over there, go in the house and get anything you want. And I mean, I didn't have the heart to go over and just take anything I wanted, but I went through and I thought, okay, I want something that will remind me of her when I look at it. And so I got this Mexican big, huge chicken pot, flower pot that was written on the bottom. It was from Mexico. So, I ended up putting my spider plant in it, and it's doing extremely well. It's very happy with its new pot.
And it reminds you every time.
It'll always make me think of her. Anytime I look at it, I'll think, oh, okay, that's Miss Kay's. That came from Miss Kay's house.
I love sentimental things like that. I am a very sentimental person. And I often use those pieces in my creations. I can't help it. If I make something, I do want to put my soul in there, and that helps me do that. Okay. So I think we got some good variety here. Oh, I need to rip that one up a little bit more. May not use the gray. Using all these dark colors, and then I'll add. I had that wire trimmed ribbon that was striped there, and I took the wire out because I'll recycle the wire and use it in something. And I tore off the gold edges on it, and I'll use those still too. Isn't that the best sound? Oh, I love it. Okay, and this one needs one more. Hopefully she'll be dry here in a minute. Oh, I've got weird things coming. Look at what this is made out of. I mean, there's tinsel. There's this sort of, I don't know what this stuff is called. It's not eyelash trim, but it's some sort of fun trim. I love it. But I need it to rip, and it doesn't want to. It just wants to pull out those pieces.
Hi, Mariah.
Hey, Mariah. Okay, so I got lots of fun pieces here. Boy, that scarf is cool. Look at all the pieces in there.
That's so awesome to be able to pull that apart and get that many pieces.
Yeah, this is really cool. I don't want the pink. No pink. I say no to pink. Okay, so what I'm going to do is decide how long I want her. Oh, there's more pink. Make it stop.
If I'm going to use pink, you can too. It's okay.
But I won't want to look at it. That's the problem. I can have all my pink. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is decide how long I want this, because we've got her body here. And this is going to be her, her dress, basically. So I'm going to probably make them all different sizes. It's kind of going to be a tassel in the end. But all different lengths, but probably about like that. Let's see. About like ish like that. Isn't this
nice?
Fun? How's everybody doing out there?
It seemed to be doing pretty good.
Good. Oh, I love these stripes. This ribbon is one of my favorites, and it's just like a cheap ribbon. I cut it up all the time and use it in projects.
Yeah, I have some right behind me. I'm very tempted to grab it. I know the birds don't like my glittery stuff.
Oh, that's a good idea. That helps.
We have woods around our house, and we've got woodpeckers that are coming up and beating on the house and the deck, especially the deck. I caught 2 of them out there today before we left for the car show, and they're beating holes in the posts. So we're going to have some repairs done on those. And that's not stuff that we can do ourselves. So
those little stinkers, huh?
Yeah.
So that one's too short. However, I might be able to. Oh, boy, that scarf was really much more fun ripped up than I expected. It's fun.
We want it to be fun.
Yeah. Well, that's the point, right? Okay, so I'm going to tie this off and kind of create a little tassel out of it. Tie it tight. Hang that down. And then I'll probably add some wire to that right there to put on a ring. I'll give this a trim when I'm done. So let's move this. Oh, I forgot this bit. I wanted to use.
Oh, Diane.
Hi, Colleen. How are you? Did I miss anybody else?
Who is one-legged witchy woman?
That is Laura.
Laura. Yes, I am a Southern girl. I'm in North Carolina. What part of the woods? And I am surrounded by woods. We might find anything. We have skunks that come and take care of the bees that nest in the ground. We have deer that pass by when my husband's on the lawnmower and look at it and as to laugh. We have the lady that lives right next door to us has a freshwater stream, so they can go there and they can go into the woods for cover. So we have all kinds of critters. Neighborhood sighting this week was a fox and her 3 babies.
Oh my goodness!
Red fox. We have on our side of the land. We tend to see more gray foxes over here. But on the other side of our development, they are red foxes. And that's what had the babies.
I'm going to get a little sandpaper out here. And I'm just going to...
Hi, Colleen.
All right.
We have moles. We have moles. We have... slinks. They live behind the azalea bushes on the warm side of the house, which is the east. They get the morning sun. We have frogs, all kinds of lovely little creatures.
We're pretty lucky here too. We have deer that come and eat in the yard. We're on the edge of town, up towards farmland. And we are on the end, like the end of town. There's a big hill across the street that has like trails and trees, and and there's a school across the street also. Um, so we get all those critters in our yard, which makes me so happy.
Well, I don't mind. I don't mind the critters. I mean, we've got a squirrel that comes and sits and sits on the deck and looks like he's just hanging out. And he looked really cute during the winter when he'd come up to eat the birds' food. And I didn't do anything about it because I thought he was kind of cute. But when I planted my marigold seeds the other day, he went to start digging them up right away. So
Oh my goodness.
I took the tops off the jalapeno peppers and put out there, and he hasn't done anything.
I'm looking for something I can't find.
I figure, that might be a little bit too spicy for him.
So I had a squirrel encounter the other day. We have this giant tree. It would take, and I probably talked about it. It would take a school bus full of children, arm in arm, to go around it. I mean, it's huge. It's a redwood, and it's on the other side of our driveway. It had knocked the chimney down on the house, and they had to remove it at one point because it's so big. So we have a shelf in our fireplace, and I have an electric fireplace in front of it right now. Anyway, we have a whole colony of animals that live up there, and a squirrel. We've got some baby squirrels. They're not very big. I mean, I think they're babies. They're just not very big. Has been pretty friendly and not afraid of me if I'm outside without the dog. And the other day, I'll be darned if he didn't come up and get on I was 4 feet away. He came up and sat on my gardening table, and we had a conversation 4 feet apart. And I got seeds out for him. And when I stood up to get the seeds, he decided he needed to go a little farther away from me. He wasn't sure. But it's a few times he's come to see me now. And he just doesn't seem to be afraid of me. I don't want the dog to get him, though. That's my
No, that's the problem.
yeah.
We didn't feed birds. We didn't feed any of the animals when the hawks were nesting. But this year, after 5 years straight, this is the first year they have not nested in our backyard, and I was really excited about it.
Wow.
I mean, I enjoy them, but then they get really messy, and our squirrel population had dropped to just about nothing because they eat them. They feed them to their little babies when they're just a few days old.
Right up there.
So I'd rather see squirrels than hawks.
I would too. I think it's so sad. It breaks my heart. So I could do something. There's bees on here. There's not a lot of them showing. I mean, it's a metallic paper. But I could go through with like a black marker and make some polka dots or something silly on here. Also, so a bit of doodling would not go amiss. But I'm thinking I'm going to figure out how I want to connect this. And it could be with anything, really. Just thinking, I have all these little jars here next to me that have stuff in them. Fishing stuff works really good for things like this, to put at the top so you can clip it, or you could use a clip like that and do it this way and just clip it on your curtain like that. I'm probably going to end up putting the bee right here at the top of the tassel too. I'm just deciding here how I want to connect this. I could use wire, a whole thing of these, just stuff, just stuff. You guys can use straight pins for head pins on beads or to connect things, which maybe that's what I'll do right there. I will cut this down and just push this up on the bottom. So I'm going to get my little cutters here. Diane says she's tried everything for the deer.
Oh, deer are not stupid, that's for sure. They sure can find their way to their next meal.
Oh, flying everywhere. So I'm going to put that through. Because I want this to be her dress, I'm not going to have this part dangle. I'm going to just put it right up in there like that. And I might even use a touch of glue if I need to. And then I'll decide, do I want to leave it like that? Go around. Or do I want to attach something? Maybe a piece.
Oh, that's looking very nice.
Thank you. I could even do like a little bit of this on there, or another piece of like applique, even. I mean, you can put anything on a cork. I've made angels out of corks using lace. I made them years ago, and they hung on my tree. And I gave them for gifts one year. Let's see. How about some of this? I've got this little piece right here. Nah, I don't like that. I think I kind of like the, oh, well, maybe like that. When you glue it down, it helps keep everything else in place where you've straight pinned, and I think it needs to be something straighter. Let's see here. You know, maybe that piece of lace that I used first was a good idea. It's not too long. Maybe so. The other side.
Talking about the animal populations and how they're encroaching on neighborhoods. It's very difficult in our area because the only thing that we could do, as far as the deer being just massive amounts of deer, um, in such a small area, is we we could have someone that bow hunts
Oh,
during bow
no.
hunting season, but you could not hunt them otherwise because we are just inside the city limits, even though it doesn't sound like, I mean, we do live in a more rural area, but you just you can't do what you want to do. I mean, there are people that would love to have the meat and feed their family with it, but it's not something that's allowed, and they don't let them take but so many.
If you guys don't have any of this glue, any of the beacon glue, I recommend getting it because sometimes it's just exactly what you need. So I want to make sure that stays up on the bottom of the cork. You know, we're just making weird things when it comes down to it.
I'm
How
kind of
weird
liking it.
how weird can we get? Let's see what you're doing, huh?
Well,
Let's see it.
I've got to figure out what I want to do next. I don't think you can see it actually dangling.
I hate how it oozes out the top though when you're using it.
I don't
So
know.
this was not my original plan, but I'm just kind of going with the flow here. Maybe I'll hang some beads from the top. Maybe do a bit of that wire, work that I was talking about. It's a good time to break out the rust, the rings, the chain, all those weird clips you got. Your husband's toolbox, go in there. If you got one of those, just go digging.
I think I'm going to cut up some of this chain right here and put some of that on it. Just little links of that.
Smaller one. That's a good idea.
I mean, it's just laying there asking to be used.
They're talking about deer, and Laura said very pretty. to you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Laura.
It's a new experience.
um, so I think the last thing I'll do is add this bee here, or like in her hair, perhaps. Yeah, it kind of
I
goes
think
better.
that'll be cool.
Um, I didn't intend on using this much fabric. Well, I mean the lace and I'm just kind of going with it. Um, so yeah, we'll do what we do. This kind of stuff is great for something whimsical or assemblage type. You guys can use these on like the spine of a junk journal if you make them, or anywhere you want. It doesn't have to hang above your kitchen window or on your porch. So anywhere you want. So let's see what I have. I want to do a bit of a dangle at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show Lisa here, because it was something she wanted to work on. Bit of wire. I do have this, one of the transistors that I bent and
Yes.
turned into, that really goes actually. But we did want to show you how to do this real quick. So I'm going to find some appropriate wire here, and you need something strong, stronger. And sometimes, it's from the edge of a wire ribbon. You don't know. I mean, you can always double it up too. I do have a bunch of dead soft. Let's use this copper dead soft. I really like this one. And you don't have to have fancy tools. You could use the end of a paintbrush to curl it. Anything you want, really.
Yes, Sharon is the MacGyver of mixed media. She can take
Aww,
pieces and parts and create anything. That's what
that's so
Laura
sweet.
said.
That is so sweet.
That
Thank you.
that is a good analogy there.
That's funny that you should say that, because they used to call me MacGyver because I could make anything out of anything, not in art, but like in for the home or for decor or and so I've been referred to as MacGyver before. That's hilarious. So I've got this rusty wire that I got that big spool from at that sale. And it's really strong too. But I also have this dead soft aluminum wire that's the right color, but it's pretty soft. So if I use it, I might have to double it up, or I could wrap it around this rusty wire and make something cool. That would be fun. Um, and then the point was to use one of these, I think. You guys can use belt buckles. Those make really cool things to hang from if you're just doing something, different. You can add sequins, beads, whatever you got. All right, so I got to see how I want to attach that. And I was going to bring some eye hooks up, but all I have are a couple cup hooks, I think. Broken jewelry, time to break that out. Lisa's already got her jewelry out, don't you?
Yeah, I've got bling laying everywhere.
Yes, this would be
My
cool.
husband was in a state of panic. He said, "Now you're not throwing away anything soon. Don't go tearing everything up." And I said, "Trust me,
It's
you
gold
would
for
not want to be seen with me out on the street in any of these things that are going upstairs." And he said, "Well, let me look."
Are
And,
you
and he
serious?
looked in there. He said, "You're right." I said, "I told you. I'm not going to mess up anything that I would actually wear."
What was he going to do with them? I mean,
He
he's
wasn't going to do
wear.
anything. He just gets sentimental. He wanted to make sure I wasn't getting rid of anything that his mom and dad might have given me. Or,
Oh, that's sweet though. That is sweet though.
I mean, they
Um,
bought me very expensive jewelry. Very long formal pearls and stuff like that. They didn't buy me costume stuff much,
I
so they love me.
oh yeah. Always check the back. I did give away a 14 karat gold huge anchor to a teenager once. Still kicking myself over that because he probably hawked it. He loved it. I gave it to him, and it was instant jewelry that I had, and hadn't looked at the back of it. And it wasn't until he had started wearing it every day, and it was around his neck, and it was turned around, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's 14 karat gold!" And it had like some jewels on it. It was an anchor with a cross on it, and it was about yay big. If he hawked it, he probably got a pretty penny for it because it was also an antique. So now I double check all that stuff. You have to.
Well, they had an in at a jewelry store when they would get really nice estate pieces in where they just buy out a whole estate. They
Oh
were
yeah.
good enough customers that they would get like first view.
Oh yeah. That's
And
cool.
so I ended up with
Looking for my little eye hooks.
pearls at $3,000 set of pearls. Now, where am I going to wear them? Right?
I have lots of real pearls because I used to
I,
buy
I
a lot of
do
brother
I do
jewelry.
wear them. I will put them on occasionally. Um, both kids have pearls, real pearls that were given to them
There we go.
by their grandma and grandpa. So
So hold on just a second here. I was telling Lisa the other day she didn't know the difference, and I'm not a jeweler. So everything I do is self-taught with jewelry and wire and bending and all that stuff, just so you know. But I do know this. Anything that has that head on it, and it could be round or it could be flat like this, is a head pin. And that is used to create, the end of, that's where you would have that at the end of a little dangle, or a charm, like, anyway. And then there's also eye pins, which I don't happen to have any here on my desk, but those are the ones that have the circle on them. And you can create eye pins easily with wire and your pliers. And that's the one where you would attach, and you would have this piece at the end, glue, to attach things. Now you can also use straight pins. I don't know if you guys know that. You can use this like the end and build your things up, and you just clip off that sharp point there and create the eye on it with your pliers. And those are, I know I have way too many of these, getting them from grandma and mom, and it's a great use for these. You can also make jump rings out of these. Just remember to clip that off in the garbage, that sharp end, and you have, easy, you don't have to buy extra parts, jewelry makings. And that is what we will use today. Because become be so, my brother used to say when he was little. Become be so. When he was, and that is something my family always says because my brother said that when he was little. Become be so. So I'm just screwing in one of these little eye hooks. So an eye hook would be threaded and have the circle, and that's used all over your house or in whatever. I always have buckets full of them downstairs, but I just put that in there so that I can use it like a hanger, like that. Probably wouldn't have gone. It probably could have used a little glue. So I also have this, and this really reminds me of what she is wearing there. Maybe I should just leave it on the earring hook, but look at that. It looks like the same style as her dress would be. So that's a possibility to just hang right in there, or to hang from the bottom. Another thing and a way to add whimsy is those bells that you have in your stuff, because we all have a bell or two or 20 or 100, to hang from the bottom. And it has a little, it'll make a little tinkly sound and you'll enjoy it more. So that'll be last. Now I've got that on there. I want to create so I'm going to need an eye on each end. And maybe this is where I just go ahead and use this, and I'll use a hook. Have you guys noticed this on my finger? Did you guys notice that? That is a jump ring. And if you don't have one, I highly recommend it. It came with my jewelry set. Um, it just makes your life so much easier until you lose it or wear it downstairs when you're not paying attention. Um, all you do is find the opening, grab it by the side. You put that in there, and there's two different sizes there, and you twist. And ta-da! It's so easy. So I'm going to put that there, put that through there. Now, because the cork's in my way, I kind of have to.
Bye, Miriam. I hope you feel better soon.
Bye, Miriam. Have a great night. It's late there, I think.
She's got a migraine.
Thank you, Anne. She loves my lady. Hey, lady.
Jerry Lewis.
That's right.
That's one of my favorite lines ever. Hey, lady.
I used to love old black and white movies.
I did too.
Yeah.
I enjoyed them. So they've been talking about the MacGyver thing, and there's been some talk about how, sometimes you might want to pre-qualify your significant other before you say I do. Make sure that they can repair things in the home, and that you're not going to have to learn to be a plumber or an electrician or a mechanic, anything like that.
Oh, that's funny. My ex-husband could not fix a thing. I could not, and I mean, I had to learn how to fix things, and he was 12 years older. No, he was 8 years older. So I actually learned how to, kind of fix things and do things for myself, hence the MacGyver bit. And I mean, take things apart. If I didn't know how to fix it, I'd try to figure it out. And when I married my husband, we talk about it all the time. We were just talking about it 2 days ago. It shocks me that he knows how to fix everything. And I mean everything. He is super mechanical, and I feel so lucky and blessed. And he doesn't understand how somebody doesn't know how to do all those things. And I have to remind him that not everybody has his engineering brain, because he thinks that, why can't everyone do this? Like, he can build a car from the ground up. He can fix anything. He knows how to, like, all the things that I don't know how to connect, he knows how to do, like, and we complement each other that way, because he gets my creative brain and he helps me with his, kind of technical knowledge. He's amazing. I think, and I tell him all the time, I think that's sexy as hell, being able to fix things, right? Because I was used to not having someone around that could fix things. So I think it's pretty funny.
It is funny. My dad was a truck driver, so he was gone. So, there were things that I learned to do that most women don't know how to do. I think now more women, I think, do these things, but it was not unusual for me to be able to fix a toilet. I can fix a toilet. I can fix a sink. I can replace faucets. And, for the time that I was growing up, that wasn't exactly a common thing for a woman to be doing.
Right.
But my mom wasn't going to do it. We'd been running to the woods before my mama would have fixed a toilet. So my dad made sure I knew how to fix most common things, because we didn't have the internet then either. And your neighbors.
Yeah, I'm lucky to have YouTube, I gotta say. With
YouTube we can learn how to do a lot of things.
We can, and I love it. I gotta figure out, this part's bugging me. I gotta figure out what goes there, and I will, but not yet. I'm gonna let this dry. So I'm gonna start on the second one. That's gonna
Diane, I've ripped up carpet too, so I'm right there with you. You do what you got to do.
You did what?
She said that she lived in a house in shop for years, so it wasn't unusual for her to be hauling her carpet cleaner to clean up a water mess at 3 in the morning, ripping up carpet, whatever needed to be done, you name it.
Yeah. Well, digging in, to life, basically. That's what that
It
is.
is life.
Gotta do it. Someone's got to do it. And sometimes it's disappointing if the men don't step up and do it. So,
Well, I mean, our kids have had it kind of easy in a sense because their dad did do
right.
stuff. He fixed cars. He works on computers. He's able to do a lot of things, and they never really had to do. But when they started driving, he said, "Okay," he said, "I will give you a car. But first thing you got to learn how to do is how to take care of it." So they'd have to go spend time with him downstairs and learn how to change the oil, learn how to change spark plugs, learn how to, do all the things that had to be done to maintain a car. And to this day, when it's time for their oil to be changed, they say, "Dad, it's time for my oil to be changed. Can I do it in the garage?" Yes.
That's awesome that they
And
know
he'll
how.
help them. I mean, he'll help them get it done, but it's up to them to pay for the supplies. But he will assist. But he don't do it for them. Just straight out do it.
So I'm going to set that to the side so that my bee can dry. And I'm going to start on the second one.
Hi, Tracy's joining us.
Hey, Tracy. And then I got to figure out what else I'm going to put around that lace right there. I did tape the bee down so that it can help it stay in place while it dries because it's, made of resin. So
Yeah.
I'll probably go with
And which glue
outline
did you
her.
use for that?
I did use the Golden Heavy gel medium. You could use hot glue for some of this if you want instant, things happening. But just taping it down for a little while and letting it dry. I might put some black sequins right here because I don't like the top of that. Um, and even maybe give her a sweetheart shape or add a heart right here with the black sequins. I haven't decided yet, but I will share photos of that when it's finished. And then I might add that piece of jewelry that I was holding. Where'd it go? It's here. I swear. Okay. Might add that to the front somehow or create some sort of, but that actually became her dress and that's fun. Oh, wait, I have a bell. There's a bell. What's going on here? If I can get through the hole. It is. Okay. My thing here to the rescue. I moved everything on my.
You were talking about your bee, and it just occurred to me I have a bee in my box.
You haven't what?
I said, I do have a bee in my box. If I can find it without making too much noise.
I kind of doubled down on the bees, but maybe I'll rip a few of these out and strategically place them around as well, so it's they stand out more because they kind of just blended into the background there. I am looking for I guess I'm going to use a piece of wire. Okay, do you guys know? I know if you've been here before, you've seen me do this, but you can use a piece of wire as a threader. I can't find my threader right now since everything's moved on my desk. So you just got to put it through the hole. Any wire will do as long as it fits doubled up. Put it through the hole like that. Whatever you want that's going to go through that hoop. And then ta-da, just like that. And then I'm just going to tie this off.
Diane says you could add some gold or silver wax to the beaded piece to make it show up more.
To the beaded piece.
Are you talking about what I'm working on? Because it's going to need some help. I can tell. It might not be finished.
Hey, Sarah, how are ya? And Mary Ellen, good to have you here. Did I miss anybody else? I'm so sorry. kind of the
They
in the
just coming.
jewelry
They're
zone
just
right
coming in.
now. All right. So I'm going to put this off to the side and let her dry, and I'm going to start on my Queen of Hearts, and that's going to be on a different substrate using the band theory again. That would be, I'm going to use one of these big puzzle pieces, I believe. I've got some giant ones here too. Did they go? Okay. So you could also use other weird things. Like I've got this rusty candle holder. It would be really cool upside down, and to make a mobile, you could tell a whole story on corks and connect to that. That would be really fun. You can use your wood pieces, obviously, and that I just used a hole punch on. And I might use that for the Queen of Hearts. I've got these giant puzzle pieces. I think I'm going to use one of these. That one. Anything you can, wrap things around is fun. Like a wooden spool would be great. Something like this even would make a good mobile, and you could hang things from it and hang that above your window.
Yes.
That would be really
I
fun.
have lots of spools.
I do have this that I got the other day from my mom too, and it's in the original box, and it's a spice thing. It's almost like a tea strainer. It would be perfect. Look at that. Isn't that fun? It's got holes all over. You could put a little message in there. I think this would make a better necklace though, wouldn't it? Like little messages. Wrap a gel print around it and then poke the holes in it. I think that came from Grandma's stuff. All right.
That's the cutest little tea strainer.
It's actually a spice thing.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a spice infuser, but it looks like a tea strainer.
It does.
Yeah.
Just a tiny version of one.
Yeah, I thought it was adorable. So let's see. So with these puzzle pieces that are made of the chipboard, they're usually pretty strong if they're big. And you can just use your hole punch on them. So you just decide where you're going to have that. So maybe this will be where it hangs. So I'm just going to punch a hole in that. And there's no need to put an eye on it because it's really strong. This is just paint and alcohol ink. And I did these a long time ago, so I had them ready. If you go and put some tissue paper on here or a gel print, that's when you want to use the sandpaper on the edges because it's just so much easier to get it even and smooth. So I think I'm going to use these two pieces together somehow, or maybe a smaller heart, or perhaps this, because I have a Queen of Hearts here that I would like to use. I've got that one. I've got this giant one. And I also have some rook cards, which are cool on the front and the back because they have a crow. So
Hi, Joni.
Did you say hi to Julie?
Joni.
Oh, Joni. Hi, Joni. I didn't see her there.
She just popped in.
So Joni, I'm on my second one, but we'll just get this one started and keep an eye on the time. I decided with my new schedule, I'm not going to just stick to, 2 hours. If I can do it in a shorter amount of time, I will, because that makes it easier for everybody to enjoy their Saturday. And, maybe do other things or start a project or, just takes up a little less time if I can. So, and this is what I've done so far for those coming in. We've got a girl with a beehive and some bees, and it's a hanger. She's drying though. She doesn't have an orange headband.
She started off as a cork.
That's right. So maybe this one on here, and then I should age that up a little bit, or on a heart because it's the Queen of Hearts. But that one's got holes in it, so maybe a smaller one that I have over here. I don't want to waste the one with the holes. What else do I have here? Oh, they're turquoise. Could use this one. It has a hole through it though.
Diane was reminding us about her steampunk mask that she made out of the tops off of spice bottles that she
Oh,
had thought
that's
about
so
throwing
cool.
away a while back in Makers. It was a steampunk
I remember
mask.
that. Yeah, that was so cool. So maybe I will. Let me grab another heart that doesn't have holes in it because I don't. That's the only one I have in that size, and I don't want to waste it. They're right over here. Oh, I do have one more in that size without holes. So there's that. Because it's the Queen of Hearts, I want to use a heart. This one's too fat. So I kind of have two substrates going here, but she's going to be my focal point. And I think now what I'll do is use the big queen because I can use more of her that way. And she's appropriately sized. But I'm going to sand this a little bit first. Oh my gosh, my desk is such a mess. Where is my sand block? Do you guys see it? That's the question.
I do not see it right off.
Oh my gosh, I just had it too.
And you did. You just had it.
Are you kidding me?
Because you didn't you sand early on?
I did. Okay, I'm going to use one of these. It's not as gentle, but I just want to.
We will post our finished products in
We absolutely will.
Makers. We will.
Yeah. And I will also post them on my page or Instagram or TikTok. Just kind of, I'm roughing it up, aging it, so that when I put some of my tea dye on it or chicory dye, where did that go? Oh, I put it in a pen. There it is.
Yes, it is, Julie Parker. An artist at work can lose anything on their desk.
Oh my gosh, yes. Isn't that the truth? So did you guys see my last video with the chicory dye?
That turned out really cool.
It really is a beautiful color. It's not going to look the same on this sort of plasticky card. That was why we did sandpaper there. But it won't be as golden, but it's beautiful. Some of it's just kind of falling up too. I think I'll make a stronger pot next time, or I'll take this down and double reduce it because I love the shade of yellow that it created. So I'm going to wipe that back off a little bit. Just giving it some age. Okay. Now I'm going to decide. I want to kind of have that heart. I'm just making a guess here because I'm covering the bits that. There we go.
What did you put in your tea to preserve it?
In my what?
In the chicory dye that you made, what did you put in it to preserve it?
A little vinegar.
Okay.
That's it. Just a splash of vinegar.
I didn't remember what you had said.
I put a little vinegar in everything that I do like that. Like a coffee dye or a tea dye. Always gets a splash of vinegar for me because I feel like it helps it last. You could probably add salt as well. But I don't know how salt is going to affect the way when you use it. I don't know how it'll affect whatever your mediums are, your substrate. Little vinegar doesn't hurt though. Could probably put a little rubbing alcohol in it too. It'll probably work.
Okay.
So I'm just going to glue that down to the heart. I'm going to trim it out just a little bit more because I don't want it to hang over. And I might change the color just a little bit more too. with something else. I'm not sure what yet. Because it's so stark white, and I don't want that. So I might have to get creative with that part. Maybe some Tim Holtz whiskey gel stuff, perhaps, or just maybe I'll try some walnut spray. So that's going to go
And has said that you have to be careful with the salt because it can
corrode.
eat through your substrates over
Yeah,
time.
I can imagine that that would happen, actually. Okay, so I'm just punching some holes in this, kind of thinking I might want to dangle here and there, and I want to balance it a little bit. So maybe 2 on this side, maybe something long here. If you use a puzzle piece, it's fun because you could hang something just right in your little gap there. Just, so it's kind of centered. That would be fun. But I don't know yet. So, how are we doing on time there?
We're at
All right.
1 hour and 19 minutes in.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to use this heavier stuff because I want it to be down there because this is kind of thick and plasticky, and I just want to make sure that the glue is heavy enough. The Beacon fabric glue would probably work for this too, but I don't know. I know that this will work, so that's what I'm using.
Colleen said that you have to be careful when you're changing pH, the pH of anything that you create.
Yeah. That's why I would think that, if you put salt in it, you're limited with, what you can put it on, I think. Although if you're trying to corrode things like I do, maybe salt is good sometimes.
Yeah, I imagine there's situations where it is good.
Yeah. But then you're limited about what you can use it on. So vinegar is just a better choice, really. So mostly even, but I'll probably trim out the edges in gold when it's done anyway. And then I'm thinking she's over here on this side looking in. So I don't want to put her over here because then where is she looking? Like she's looking over there somewhere. We want her to look in on the piece, kind of maybe right there. And she is the focal point. She is the lead singer of this band. This is the band. She is the lead singer. Now she needs backup singers or backup instruments, right? So I could use a stencil at this point because this is big enough. I could use a die. Let me see. Perhaps something gel printed. Some tissue paper. Oh, I do have some tissue paper here. So I'm going to think in kind of opposites. I have one with mushrooms here that I stamped. Mushrooms are always whimsical. I have some here that looks like rust with Rhonda's stencil I think I might use. And we'll change her color, but I'll figure out what my backup singers are looking like first. So perhaps I have to figure out how I want to do that. So maybe just like a strip of it. Let me rip it.
Yeah, rip it.
And rip it good.
Like a Band-Aid, rip it.
And rip it good.
Rip it.
Crack that rip. And rip it good. I don't know if you get that, but yeah, vinegar is acid, but vinegar is, it'll work on most everything that I use, and that's why I think it would be okay. It would be the most gentle way to preserve the liquids I'm trying to keep, Okay, so maybe just, let me see, maybe this way. Hate to tear up that beautiful, beautiful stencil, but There we go.
Are you sure you want to see us better?
So maybe I would do a bit of that or a bit of that. And then when I change her color, I'll know more about the color I want to be. So this is just tissue paper. I can use a glue stick here. Actually, let me cut that up first because that's going to be hard. And this is where I will need a file to get into the little edges or a foamy sand block. Just giving it some interest here. I mean, this is interesting on its own, but a little more won't hurt, right?
That's right.
And then hopefully that'll dissolve into the background because I'll go over it with a layer of gel medium. So then we want to put some here. I'll have to repunch through it. So I'm trying to imagine this in a different color and what that's going to look like with that on there. It's going to end up looking like a stripe. So I have these mushrooms, and that's just a stamp that I got for Christmas from Bill.
Diane's talking about torturing fabric.
Torturing fabric?
Yeah. She
How
put
do you...
it through the ringer, apparently.
Oh.
She tried lots of different things. She did a lot of experimenting.
I love that. I love to experiment. There's, you know, if we weren't experimenting, we would never learn anything new. And we got to have some failures. So it's okay to fail in an experiment because that's how we learn. There's just nothing like a good experiment to me. I'm a what if person anyway, in every aspect of everything. And an experiment is, the best what if. I'm lucky that my husband appreciates what I do. He understands me, and he also likes to have theories on experiments with me. He is an experimenter as well.
I personally try things. I try to do things that are outside of what I would normally do.
Yes.
And if I get an idea, I'll try to run with it. But sometimes, I run and it's like I hit a brick wall, or I realize that what I think I can do is not what I should do. And I have to kind of backtrack and say, okay, all right, it's time to phone a friend.
I just keep going until I figure it. I mean, that's how I became the MacGyver of connecting all these things. It's just kind of playing and figuring it out and having lots of failures. And, everything I touch does not turn to gold.
Well,
sure.
I had to, unfortunately, I got my paper stuck on my gel plate.
Oh, yes.
The other day.
I've done this. Yes.
It was like I started pulling, I broke the edges and started pulling it up, and it just said, no, you just thought you were going to do something big with me. But I had put a lot of time in it. And
I hate that when I think I've got, all these layers on there and I've got the perfect print, and all of a sudden I can't, my paper's torn in half and I lost all that paint, and it was just wasteful at that point, right?
Well, I was just frustrated because I didn't see that one coming. I mean, there had been some that, I'm like, okay, I was a little slow getting my paper down. I should have pulled it quicker. But this was one I thought, I was going to be able to let it sit overnight. But I guess it just didn't get enough paint on to lift it with.
What a shame.
But I got it. I got it up.
It's happened to me with rice paper more than once. So now I get frustrated with the rice paper and I don't want to use it on my plate.
Yeah. I saw Eddie doing rice paper the
Mm,
other day, and
yeah.
that
It is
happened to him. But he, he handled it pretty good. I think he did.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you, Trish, for reminding them. Are you guys having fun? If you are, I would love a thumbs up. That would just be, I would be so grateful. Thank you.
Yes, we're glad you're here, and we hope that you're going to give a try to some of the ideas. Um,
Sarah is talking about Pendleton. Are you talking about Pendleton fabric? I'm from Pendleton. My mom worked at the Pendleton Woolen Mills when I was a kid.
wow.
Hey, Margalo. You're way out in the country. Sharing Wi-Fi. Oh, I'm so sorry, Margalo. That sucks. I'm glad you're here. I don't know why you're sharing Wi-Fi. You got to stop doing that, huh? Sorry. Um, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
No,
I
that's okay.
noticed. Um, One of the things that I love using is broken jewelry like this, where it has the rings in between, because you could break those up. I mean, I even have some earrings that I made with just some sections of these because I like a long earring with my long hair. Um, and you can do lots of things with, like, a broken rosary is one of my favorites because you get all those different ones and they're always connected like that. And there's just lengths of it, you know. I don't know how sacrilegious it is, but another thing that's fun to use is a tattoo. The rub-on tattoos, just seal it over the top when you're done, but they make some really cool ones now. On Amazon, you can get a great big package of them for next to nothing. And there's like metallics and there's cool like henna designs. Those are really fun on these sort of projects. You won't find, I mean, these are way better than washi in my opinion. The designs are amazing. So check
Cute.
that out.
It's a good idea.
Just one bag of tattoos doesn't cost much. And, you know, they have different styles. There's just some really cool ones. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with him. And I'm going to grab this. Oh, so I'm going to kind of tell you what I have in mind here because we're not going to be able to finish this on camera today. But I will finish it today and I will share it. I am going to use some weird pieces like this. And I'm probably going to do some beads, some little pieces like this. I might do a dangle that hangs this way. I have mushrooms here that I could color in with a colored pencil after they're dry. But let's darken this up first before we say goodbye. Should we do that?
Yes.
All right. How many of you, hi Lynn, welcome. How many of you are going to try to make a whimsical whatnot with us? Anybody planning on doing sort of an assemblage hanging for their kitchen window with me?
Julie Parker is on board.
Oh, yay! This stuff is
Hi,
pretty.
Evie.
Hi, Evie. We said hi earlier, but she hadn't. We knew she
She's
was here, but not
been
chat.
kind of busy.
Yeah. Okay. So I haven't used this in ages, and it's so thick. I've had it for years. I forget to use it. That's the problem. So, but I'm still using it. We'll see. I wonder if I can water it down. I will put gold on the edges, though. Aging it out, though. Any sort of transparent paint would work too, but I like the idea of the age on it. I'm going to use my towel. Get a lot of that off. Let it soak in here and there. Maybe I'll even go at this with some alcohol inks. See what happens. Like some lighter colors. Just some drips or something. Or a marker. because that didn't really do it. It's still not the way I want to see it. It's going to get adjusted some more. Anyway, if you can imagine this here, some interesting things dangling. I'll figure that part out, and I'll probably use some broken jewelry, things like this, or not things like this, and maybe just more rusty pieces. This really matches now, so I'll probably use one of those somewhere, one of these transistors, and hopefully something rusty. So anybody else raising their hand? Because I can't wait.
Lynn says I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
Uh-oh. Or maybe just not moving. Oh, that's good that you sew, Sarah.
Yes, I put dangles on something dangly on the end of my chains.
Okay, let's see yours. I'm going to make you big first.
Okay.
And
I wish I'd have put white on the back so you could see better, but okay, so there's my brayer pieces. And my mom, you know, she had a doll shop, so it wasn't unusual to have little parts laying around. So when I saw this little foot, that's what I thought about.
oh, that's so cool.
And there's some rings that were off of one of her necklaces. And then this was a pen. And I thought, okay, a rose is good. You know, she liked roses. And I put a bee and a leaf for an angel. And
I think it's wonderful. I love
there's
all
my
the
flower, and here is the bee.
How cool. I love it. You did such a fabulous job.
I think I'll take a picture when it's hanging up. I think it'll look better hanging up.
Oh yeah, handmade paper beads would be great for this too. And that was the other thing I was going to share. I could make some of these with paper tubes, actually, or straws even on wire. And I did make some clay ones that I will share next time. But I'm kicking myself for not buying this whole box. So I might have to make some or go knock on her door several towns away. One or the other. So here's my girl. Oh, I guess
Hey, Fran just popped in. And thank you, everyone.
Hey, Fran, how you doing? We're assemblaging some goofy, whimsical whatnots. So here's my girl. She's going to get something else right here, like I said, and I will probably touch that bee up with some black paint just on my finger because I made it gold. I have my transistor here, which I thought I was on camera there a second ago and was trying to share that, you know, I can make some out of paper rolls. She's got a bell here so that she'll jingle. I think the cat's going to love this, by the way, the cat. She's probably going to get some sequins here, and I may add some different beads here. I'm not sure. Maybe some bigger ones in pearls, or, you know, that one might end up down here because it's on a chain. But this was a lot of fun. And I will finish this one, let her continue to glue or dry. Uh-oh, didn't work. There we go. And I will share photos. I hope that you all found some inspiration here today and you put together some weird bits to make whimsical whatnots with us. That would be fun. And we are going to wrap it up early. Thank you so much, everybody that was here. Bits to make whimsical whatnots with us.
Oh, sorry.
That would be fun. Oh, thank you, Julie. We are going to wrap it up early. Thank you so much, everybody that was here.
Sorry.
Oh, there. We couldn't hear you. Are you there? Oh, thank you, Julie. Yes, we will see everybody tomorrow morning thank you, Belinda. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it.
Thanks to all that stopped by.
Yeah, and you all have a magical day. We'll see you in the morning. Bye, guys.
Bye.